Hello. How is everyone? Oh, I'm so excited to be back. You have no idea. I'm so hyped. So welcome. This is going to be the prep video part 1. I'm just going to go over the materials. That's it. I'll go live later in the week and show you how to transfer your design onto the hoop. So we're just going to talk about materials, and then if we have time, we'll hoop the fabric. If you have any questions along the way, then just add them in the chat here, and I can see all the questions, so it won't get lost or anything like that. Just a couple things I want to say before we start. One is that this is supposed to be like a fun stitch along, yeah? So if you ever find yourself like really stressing out and it doesn't become enjoyable for you, that is a really big sign that you need to take a step back and stop, take a little break. This does not have to be done at the end of February. Like, yes, the videos will stop then, but your hoop does not have to be completed at that time. I think a lot of people, they really stress out about, I have to get everything done every single day so I can stay on track. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's supposed to be relaxing. It's supposed to be a fun thing that we can all do together. You can totally see the shadows of me moving all my hands around. Like, the other thing is just try your best. So obviously your hoop is not going to look the same as my hoop because I've been doing this for like 7 years. So don't try and strive for that. We'll get you close. But not exactly the same. And that's okay. So for some of you, this will be your very first stitch along ever. And that's fine. And for others, this will be your second or your third or your fourth, and you'll be working on your skills to try and make them better. So just try your best. So I don't want to hear any complaining like, oh, but hers looks so much better and his thing is like so much better than mine. And oh my gosh, like, no, you're doing your best for you, not your best for someone else. So just kind of keep that in mind. The other things are, the worse it looks, the more handmade it looks. So we're not aiming for like machine embroidery precision, okay? Like, we want to make a handmade thing, hey, that you can clearly tell that you made, you know? And the very last thing, I think, two last things. We're not striving for perfection. We're learning the stitches. So if you can't draw a perfect circle, welcome to the club, because I can't either. If you can't draw a really straight line, I can't either. So we're not like trying to be perfect here. We're just trying our best. We're having a bit of fun. It's about the community, all of us being together and stitching stuff. And so like, that's what I want us to focus on. Do you know what I mean? So the flowers that we're going to draw, they're not going to be difficult. If you can draw a wonky circle, you're good. If you can draw a curvy line, you're good. That's pretty much all that you need to know how to draw for the free stitch along. I've got the small things here. And so what you get in your pattern is the big pots. Yeah, so I'll put a little story up later and you guys can pick which one I'll stitch. So we've got like the classic teapot. Obviously there's no lid because that's where the flowers are going to go. And then we've got like a beehive looking one. I thought this could be really cute if you wanted to add some little bees around or something. Then we've got like a Japanese hand built pot with a really nice big handle. And those ones will stitch the whole handle, and then you'll put your flowers right on top of that and overlapping a little bit. And then you've got your kind of old-fashioned silver teapot with some really nice details on it. So you'll also find these in your pattern. They're small, they're a small picture. But the whole idea is that you can see the kinds of flowers that we might be doing. You don't need to put them in the same places. We're going to put them all different places. And the reason is because you can decide how many you want. You can do 2 of these woven wheel stitches, or you can do 3 or 4 of these fronds sticking up around. We'll do the big flowers first. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, really. And then we'll fill it in with leaves and little flowers and little sticky type things to really make it feel full. And that's why I've got these in here. So the reason that I didn't make this the pattern is because I want you to be creative and draw the flowers yourself. And that way everyone's will look a little bit different. If you remember the flower ladies from last year, it's just behind me, but it's buried. We all drew our own flowers then, and they came out stunning. They were so, so good. So this is just to give you an idea of the kinds of shapes that we're going to draw. Super easy shapes, and how they might look. Okay? So I'm sorry for any confusion. I really didn't mean there to be. But you get the pots. We'll draw them all in. It's going to be so fun. All right, so let's talk about materials, because I know a lot of people had a lot of questions about materials. So what I like to use, and I think the last thing I'll say about this is that there's no right or wrong way. Okay, so if I explain it in a kind of way and you're like, oh, I don't do it like that, that's okay. Do it the way that you know how to do it. That's completely fine. But I'm going to use good afternoon, Kim, a 100% cotton, white, no stretch. No stretch. So if you go to like Joann Fabrics, or if you go online, you can look for Kona cotton. That's quite a little bit more expensive. It's not see-through, the Kona cotton. You can also get, what's the one from Joann's in the States? I think it's called Country Classics Quilting Cotton. And that's like a little bit cheaper. It's just all plain colors. That's a really great place to start. You can look online for quilting cotton, quilters cotton, just in solid colors. So it will be like solid cottons, and it will look kind of like this. You get all kinds of different colors. I'm going to use white because you can see all the stitches on white, but you can also do a pattern fabric if you want to, like a patterned cotton fabric, or you can go into linen. So I've just pulled some linens here, and you can kind of see the difference in the weave of the cotton, which is much smaller, and the weave of the linen, which is more open. So it's just a personal preference how you want to do it. I wouldn't get linen because linen comes in different thread counts, and you really don't want to get one that's really, really far apart, because then you'll be able to see through your fabric. But this is a nice one. I've got this really nice dark green here as well. And this one's got like some lines in it a little bit. But again, when you take it apart, this one isn't too bad, but this is what I mean. You can kind of see through it a little bit. But this is what I would probably recommend if you don't have a craft store near you, or if you are not comfortable ordering online. Then you can always go into your linen cupboard and look for an old sheet, like a flat sheet. Hi, Melissa. Flat sheets work great. Pillowcases work great. I know sometimes they have old shower curtains, not the ones that are like plasticky, but some of the shower curtains that you can find, they're actually cotton. You can use those. You can do a tablecloth. You can do an old men's shirt. Those could work. Oh man, I ordered linen/cotton. That's perfect. That's absolutely fine. That's normally what I use every single time. So that's perfect. So again, I like to tell you what you can use, because all of these, you can use all of them. So if you're low on cash, or if you just don't feel comfortable ordering online right now, you want to keep things kind of in your household, then look around the house and see things that you can find. There's nothing wrong with using linen. There's nothing wrong with using cotton. There's nothing wrong with ripping up tea towels. Yes, tea towels. You can, like I said, a flat sheet, a fitted sheet even, one that may be shrunk or that's too small, anything. So any kind of fabric, as long as it has no stretch. So for this, we want no stretch. So you can stitch on t-shirts, you can stitch on sweatshirts, and sweatshirts like the one I'm using, yes, they do stretch, but you can stitch on them. But for this particular project, we're gonna use like a cotton or linen or something that we have around our house that has no stretch. We wanna have no stretch. Stitch on everything and see what you like. Exactly. I know some people really love linen. Like I know Kim loves stitching on linen. And I do as well, actually. I quite like linen. I have some pink linen that I use for a lot of things. It looks like this. Again, just like the green, but it's just a light color pink, and I think it's really, really lovely. It just depends on what you prefer, what you like to do. So don't worry about, oh, I got the wrong materials. No, you didn't. It's absolutely fine. But you'll find out if you like stitching on that or not really quickly. So if you find out in the first couple stitches, I hate this, don't fight it. Take it out of your hoop and get something else. Okay? All right, I want to talk about hoops real quick. So there's two different kinds of hoops, really. There's the plastic ones like this. Yeah. They all kind of work in the same way, most of them, where they have a screw at the top that you loosen and tighten to get the middle ring out, and then you put them back together and tighten them back when your fabric is in there. So I'll show you that either at the end of this or when I trace the pattern in the next video. It'll probably be on Thursday, or yeah, it'll probably be on Thursday. So here's the plastic ones. Again, plastic one. It's got the screw at the top. Some of them even have a screwdriver plus sign or a minus sign that you can actually put a screwdriver in there and, you know, tighten it. So that's good. And then you have wooden hoops. Now, some wooden hoops are really great and some of them are not. And you'll find the ones that are not because they'll have gaps in your fabric or in the hoop. So let's see if this one has one. And the gap will be where you can see through it. So can you see through right there? Everywhere else seems to be pretty closed. This is not tightened all the way. But here it seems to kind of go out a little bit. Melissa, I will answer that when I talk about needles, which is next. Is that okay? So what you can do here, if you've got a wood hoop that's got one of these weird bends, is you can put some washi tape or you can wrap it with strips of fabric. So it would kind of, I don't have any strips of fabric with me, really. It would kind of be like this. So you found out where your hole is, smaller than this, obviously. Yeah, and you can wrap it just in that area. And then when you put it back together, again, smaller than this, not exactly the same. When you put it back together, it will actually be, well, I should probably loosen it, before I put it back together. You'll see that like the gap's not there anymore. So this right here can really, really help if you've got a hoop, say from Hobbycraft or online somewhere, and you're like, oh no, it's got a gap in it. Now I can't use it. You can always wrap your hoop and it will make it tighter again. So there's one thing. There's also the flexi hoops. Jessie, oh my God. I think I have one over here actually. Oh, it's right at the bottom. I'm not a big fan of these, but I know some people are a really big fan, so I'll show these too. The flexi hoops, I'm probably gonna break a nail trying to get these off. But the flexi hoop is just this plastic ring, like this, and you bend it off. Again, I'm not strong enough to do this, but you bend it off, you put your fabric in the middle, and then you put it back on, and it's really, really tight. So some people really like these flexi hoops, and this is all plastic. It just kind of has that wood look to it. So there's those. The other thing you can do is use a Q-snap frame. So these here, they're just little plastic things that you put together. I was going to try and show you how they go together, but that's really tight. Oh my God. Oh, I can't. But anyways, it's all these pieces. So this is a piece, this is a piece, this is a piece, and you put them all together. And then you put your fabric over the top. Normally these are for like square or rectangular projects, and you put these things over there like this, and then it makes a square thing that you can stitch in. Yeah, so if you wanted to do like a banner or a pillowcase, something like that, this right here would be great for you because it doesn't have this, it won't leave the circle indentation in your fabric. So there's that. Really quickly, how these actually work. Like I said, you take the middle ring out, you put your fabric over top. I like to cut the fabric in a circle around it, leaving about this much fabric around the entire outside. And that's because then I can do something else with it later if I want to. If I wanted to cut it into a square, there's still plenty of space. You just never know what you want to do. And then again, like I said, you put this over like this. I might as well just show you now, eh? Because I've already done it. So I like to do it about halfway like that, so you can tell it's not tight at all. Yeah, you can see the wrinkles. I don't iron my fabric because when you put it in the hoop, it makes it tight, it makes it flat. So all I'm doing is putting this part of the hoop against my body and pulling the fabric out. Pull, 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 just like this. Yeah, and then you tighten some more. My fingers always get really bad when I do these. And then you tighten some more. And you really want to pull it because we're looking for a nice drum sound when we tap it. And sometimes your outside ring will kind of shimmy up on the side, and you can just push that right back down all the way around. Okay, tighten again, as tight as it can go, and then you can always tighten the fabric again just to make sure, because you really don't want to have any loose and saggy fabric. What's going to happen if you have saggy fabric is when you do your stitching, your stitches, when you pull them tight, they're going to keep the fabric together like that. So you're going to end up with things like this on the front of your hoop, and you really don't want to have that. It's going to pull that saggy fabric together. So here we go. You want to have a nice taut fabric. Jessie is like right behind me. Oh man, you're making my feet hurt because they're like one's way over here and one's way over here. So there we go. There's how to hoop your fabric. The other thing I like to do, just to be sure, you can run your finger around the outside edge, and if your finger goes down a lot, I thought I had one, but I was like, oh no, I hope not. Yeah, maybe a little bit right there. If it goes down a lot, that's when you might want to take the fabric out and wrap some like washi tape or scotch tape or something like that around here to fill in that section. Someone said, can you readjust the fabric in the hoops after you started stitching? I always, before I start stitching every single day, give it a nice little tug like that all the way around, just to make sure it's all nice and tight. So if you've been stitching and you see that it's actually gotten a little bit loose, I would definitely keep that straight. Another question, do you trace your pattern first or do you put your fabric in the hoop first? I think this is a personal thing. For me, I put it in the hoop first and then trace it. And the reason behind that is because if there's any straight lines and you trace your pattern onto, ooh, I forgot that was wrapped. And you trace your, and you trace your pattern onto fabric like this, then when you stretch it in here, your straight line might actually be wonky, you know? So what I like to do is put it in my hoop or in my Q-snap frame or however I'm gonna be displaying it, you know? I like to keep it in there the whole time. So that's just a personal preference to me. But if you want to, you can trace it first on here and then stretch it and see what it looks like. It's mostly important with things that are going to be straight lines. So if you did the paid pattern, this right here is going to be a straight line. So if you trace it on your regular fabric and then you put it into your hoop, your straight line might be a little crooked. So that's just my preference. The other thing that I like to do, this is getting a little bit like anal about things, but I like to do the fabric threads. So if you look at the threads of the fabric, you can see ones that go up and down and ones that go left to right. So I like to do the ones up and down like this, and left to right like this. So it's nice and like the fabric's like centered, you know? That's just my thing though. I know some people will have it, so again, this is up and down and this is left to right. Some people can put it like a little bit sideways. It's fine if you've already done that. It's really not a big deal. I just find that tends to make it, when you put it in the hoop and you tighten it, it just makes it nice and tight and keeps the design like where you want it to be. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so we've done that part. I'll put that to the side. Let's talk about needles and some extra tools. So I actually started stitching from getting an antique sewing kit. So all of the needles that I have, I don't actually know the sizes. So what I need to do is go to John James and download their needle guide, because they've got a needle size guide, and try and see which of my needles match up to which sizes. But until then, I found that these ones are the ones that people most like to use. So you've got the DMC pack 1 to 5. Obviously the biggest ones are gone because I've probably given them away or used them for something or lost them. And you can see there's the smallest eye, and then a little bit bigger, and then there's even one that's a little bit bigger than that and a touch longer. There's also the DMC chenille needles. Some people really like these. They have really, there's a bit of a glare, but they have really long eyes that are quite big, easy to thread. These are the ones that I use the most. I don't even really use this one very much. It's just a blunt needle. So I've got this one that's got a big-ish eye. We've got a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller. So this one I like to use for 3 strands to 6 strands. This one I like to use for like 2 strands or 3 strands. And then this one I like to use for just 1 strand. Now, the reason I have different needles for different strands is because when you put your needle through the fabric, it makes a hole. Okay? Can you see it? Now, when you have 6 strands, that is a thicker, it's going to make a thicker line or a thicker width of your strand, if you know what I mean, than if you had 3 strands or 1 strand. Okay? So you really don't want to have a big hole made if you're only going to put 1 little strand through it. So the threads that we're going to use, most of the threads that you can find that are stranded cotton, let's get a nice light color so you can see it really easy. They have, so this is the Anchor stranded mulline, and it's number 1042. So if you untwist it a little bit, you'll see don't come at me with your weight loss crap. You'll see all of these have 6 strands. Sorry, I was trying to see if I could skip it, but it doesn't give me the option. Yeah? So when you have all 6 strands, you have a thicker line, a thicker stitch. Yeah? But when you have only 1 strand, it's much thinner. So what you want to do is put the hole in your fabric and match it to the thickness of the thread that you have. Now you're going to say, Tori, I only have 1 needle. That is fine. That's absolutely fine. We probably will not use 1 strand for the entire stitch along, so that's fine. But if you want to experiment with different strands at home, I would definitely suggest getting like a multi-pack of needles, and then you can kind of see, you know, what all the different ones do and how like to mix and match, etc., etc. So most of the time I just stick to the one needle to rule them all. This is my favorite one. I lost my previous favorite one in 2019 at the lake. It's probably in the lake somewhere. But I found this one, and it's very, very similar. The ones that I like tend to be a little bit shorter than the ones that come into the DMC, or this is the, what's the other brand of needles in the States? I think you can buy them at Hobby Lobby, although I do not like shopping there. But this one came from them. But you can see if I put it in next to it, it's actually much shorter than the other needles in the pack. And I'm not sure why that is. Like I said, I have never found one that's the same that I can like buy a whole pack of them, if you know what I mean. But these are the ones that I like to use. So Melissa said earlier, how do you know when to change your needles? I don't ever change my needles. I keep them the same. I know some people, oh my God, I don't want to lose weight. I know some people will change like after so many projects, or sometimes their needle in the end, again, he keeps going on about how to lose weight. And I'm like, go away. I don't want to. It just seems like so much work. But sometimes in the middle of them here, they'll get like tarnished, they'll get like black, but mine seem to not do that. So I don't really have an answer for you for that. I've kept the same pack of needles. This is the one I normally use to point things out in the stitch-alongs. It's very, very big, leaves a very big hole in the fabric, which is why I never use it. This one right here is actually a blunt tapestry needle, so it's really great for woven wagon wheel roses. Or if you're going to weave like a basket, something like that, then this is great for that because it has a blunt tip and you won't snag any of your other threads. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for needles. I feel like I've banged on about this long enough. So there we go, needles. There's also a little box of trinkets I've got here. Just things that like I use a lot. So the first one is tweezers. If you don't have any tweezers for embroidery, please go buy some. They're just regular eyebrow tweezers. These are not a special thing that you get in embroidery or craft shop. It's literally just, I think I got it from Sainsbury's. They're just embroidery or eyebrow tweezers, but I don't use them for hair, okay? I use them to pick out things when I've cut things out, don't like them anymore, and you can easily pull them all out. So tweezers, I love those. If you have a hard time threading your needle, then you should probably get a needle threader, although I'll show you how to thread your needle when we get started on the very first day, but these are often handy. Then we've got this guy, seam ripper, dangerous. Many a times I have gone to cut out stitching and actually cut all the way through the fabric, so I've had to start over. So dangerous little guy. Again, these are tweezers that I only use for embroidery because when I go flying, which I haven't done that in ages, but when I get on the airplane, a lot of times you can't use the scissors, so I take these and put them in my embroidery box, which is here as well. I've got all my Hatchling Make stickers on there. Fun stuff. And then this is normally where I put all my stuff. So I get all my little tools and put them in here along with my projects. This is just an extra needle stab thing. It's just some pearl cotton with some needles stabbed in it. Then we've got some dressmaking chalk. Blue tack, I'll show you what we use that for later. And then this right here is a needle minder. So it's got two little magnets and you put one on the top and one on the back of your stitching and they hold your needles so you can keep it. That's pretty much it in my little box. But those are all fun things that you can have. All right, so next we have pens and pencils and stuff. So how to like mark the pattern onto the fabric. Yeah. So we've got a couple different things here. I'll leave the one that I use the most last. The first one's just a pencil. Let's put this up a little bit. Oh my gosh, this newsstand is like amazing. So the pencil's just a regular pencil. The only bad part about this is that you can't really erase it. So if you make a mistake and you can't stitch over it or don't want to stitch over it and you want to just start again, you need to just flip over your work because there's no real way to erase it. Oh my God, missed you. Oh, I missed you guys too. This is so fun. I feel like I'm just talking on and on and on and on, but at the same time, it's like really important information. The second one is the disappearing ink. I actually really liked this one when I was first starting out because I pretty much drew the pattern and then stitched it right away. It doesn't really work so well for the stitch-alongs. This is probably really dead. It's always dead because I haven't bought a new one in like 4 years. But it's just a purple marker pen. And this one actually disappears just with air. So there's nothing you can do to make it go away faster. It just disappears with time. Air, it just goes away. So it's not amazing for stitch-alongs like this one because you're going to do the whole pattern and then half of it will be gone by the time you actually go to stitch it. So it's not amazing. But again, it's something that you can use if that's all you can find. This one is the Keyring water erasable pen, and you guessed it, it erases with water. So this is like a bright, like neon blue. And then it just comes off with water. I will say with this one though, if you've got a lot of things on your fabric, like this pattern, you will have to take the fabric out of the hoop and submerge it and get all of that blue marker off. So what I used to do is try and cheat and just spray it cold water, never warm water, never hot water, cold water. What I used to try and do is cheat and then spray with a spray bottle and then it would like go away. But what would happen would be there'd be like a ring almost of like ink, you know, because actually the marker couldn't go away. It could just go to the outside of the edge of the water. So you really need to soak this one. The last one that I like the best, I feel like there's one more, but I can't find it. So the other one that I like and the last one that I like and use a lot is the Pilot Heat Erasable Frixion pen. So it is a heat erasable, which means you can use a blow dryer or you can use an iron. And I don't know why I looked at it for so long. And they come in different sizes. So this one is 0.5. This one is 0.7. I'm just looking to see where it says it so that you can find it easier when you check. 0.7. And then this one here is 10. If you're in the States, you can get these from Target. You can get them from all kinds of water dissolvable paper / plastic. I'm not sure what you mean, Kate. Dissolvable. So yeah, you can get these from Target. You can get them from like office supply stores. If you're in England, you can get them from Amazon. You can get them from Sainsbury's. You can get them from, what's that place called with all the stationery? With the letters, W.H. Smith. I think I've seen them there as well, so you can try that. These have different thicknesses, like I said. So this is the 0.5. And then we've got 7. You can tell it's just a little bit thicker. And then you've got 10. So if you want like a nice thin line, I use the 5 a lot. Ooh, also available in Tesco. I don't go to Tesco's very often, you know, because we just don't have one that's close to us. So, so I use these ones the most. 0.05. But if I have the other ones on hand, then I'll do those as well. Oftentimes you'll find me using the black for the outline of the whole thing, and then these other colors for the details. And I do this because then I can show you stitch direction, or I can show you some like different tips and tricks that that you can like draw on your fabric to like get you to do the stitches a little bit better. So always look for like the colored ones, the purple or blue. They're my favorite ones to use for like showing you what different little things to do. And then these will all disappear with heat. So the other thing that I found, that if you have a little bit of a, oh, I'm going to do that next, the sticky solvy. That's going to be my next one. So yeah, when I want to erase a little bit, like say that I do a pattern and I've done almost all of it, but I mess up on a small part, you can also like heat a metal spoon like over the hob or like with a lighter, and just put the spoon or the knife like onto your fabric and erase it that way. And that's a really great way to just erase a little bit if you don't want to blow dry the entire thing. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, so someone asked a question about dark fabric. For dark fabric, there is a heat erasable white pen, and I'm pretty sure it's from the brand called Clover, but I don't have one, so I haven't tried it. There's also a white chalk pencil. You can try that. The other one is just a regular white gel pen. So that's normally what I use. I normally have one over here too, but I don't. No. Just like a white jelly roller pen, you know? And then when you draw the pattern onto your dark fabric, then you have to be really careful to stitch on the other side of the line. Does that make sense? So say that like you're doing a flower. Yeah. When you do your stitches, make sure that the stitches go on the outside of the line so that you don't see that white pen. So I found that that works really well. Veronica says, I've used the spoon trick to remove small bits of pen. It's great. Oh, perfect. I love that. All right, the last method is the sticky fabric solvy, and it's actually a printable like fabric kind of paper. I hate it. I really don't like it. It makes my needle sticky and I don't like it. But the good thing is that you can run it through your printer. Let me zoom back out so you can see the whole thing. You can run it through your printer. My printer doesn't take it, of course. So I bought this whole pack for nothing. You can run it through your printer and it will print anything on here. And then what you do is you take off the back of it. And it's got, see, it's sticky on the back. And the front is like almost like a fabric. Let's see if it will, can you see? Yes, this will be saved to IGTV like immediately. And then later tonight when David's done with all his classes for school, because he's a teacher, so he has meetings, we're kind of like sharing who can go live because otherwise they both won't work at the same time. So after he's finished with his meetings, about 6 o'clock, I'll upload it onto YouTube so that you can watch it again and again. So that's what's great about this, because you don't really have to do any tracing or anything like that. You can literally just run it through your printer and it will print onto there, and then you can cut it out, stick it on top of your fabric. So you stick it like this, and then you stitch right on top of this paper and your fabric. And then when you're done, again, you take the fabric out of the hoop and submerge it into cold water. Don't use hot water or else the colors of your thread might run. So you want to do cold water, and you really have to agitate it to get it off. So sometimes if you've got one of those spray gun things, you know, like when you pull the hose down and it's like, ksh, we don't have one. But if you got one of those are really great because it can really like agitate and get that off. You can also draw onto this and stick it if you really want to, but I mean, you could just draw on your fabric, you know. But that's this. This is not cheap, but it does work if you've got a really intricate design, or if you've got like handshakes or something like that. I know sometimes I go to draw and like, you know, you get like little handshakes or something. So maybe your lines can't be so straight. Then this is a really great option. And it looks like this. Sulky, sticky fabric sulfie, sticky fabric solvy. Yeah, like this. So there's that. Next on my list is thread colors. So I've got a lot of questions about thread colors. Kim says, same here, Tori. My work internet connection is rubbish as Lee is Zoom teaching. Yeah, so David's on Teams, and it seems like the Teams thing uses so much internet. Like, I can't watch a TV show in here on my laptop and have him in the other room, like talking to his class. So it's just a bit like, ugh, come on, man. We've even upgraded like to the highest internet and all that kind of stuff. So this stitch along is sponsored by Anchor. So if you know, there's really like a lot of different kinds of thread companies. There's like Cosmo, there's Anchor, there's DMZ, but I'm only going to be talking about Anchor with this one. You can use what you have, but obviously since they've sent me threads to use for this, I'm going to only be talking and using the Anchor threads. So hopefully that's you know, that's just the way it is. So here we go. They've sent me a shade card, and it's so pretty. So all of these are actual embroidery colors, and then you can match them to the color that you've got or that you want. So like if I wanted this purple, you can like hold up your thread and go straight to what it is. 871. Boom, that's what it is. I love these thread cards because you can, ooh, maybe that unstuck, but it just stuck back in a really weird way. But you can really see, all the colors they offer. So I'm just going to like push it through so that you can see all the colors. And they're organized by color, these ones. So you've got the browns and reds. Again, the lighting isn't amazing because it's been raining all day, but you've got green. I'm almost to the end. Oh my gosh, there's no space. Greens, brown, gray, and then down here at the end, you've got some specialty threads. So these ones here are soft embroidery. They're a little bit more fuzzy and they don't necessarily separate like the 6-stranded embroidery is. And then we have the variegated threads, which is thread that's all one piece, but the one piece will change color. So get darker or lighter, or even change to a different color. So like these ones here, this one's orange, yellow, and green. This one's blue, pink, and purple. I think you kind of get the drift. And then at the very end, we've got metallics and then lame. The other thing I really like about Anchor threads is they have this thing on the back, and it shows you all of the different kinds of thread that you can get. So you've got the stranded cotton and what that looks like. Then you've got the soft embroidery, which is a little bit more fuzzy. You've got pearl cotton. It comes in lots of different shapes. So obviously this one here, number 5, only comes in the skein. These ones here come in the balls, like I've showed you here. A ball of thread. Yeah. And you can see that there's thicker ones, and then they get thinner as they go down. And then these ones right here are even different from that. And then you've got the very small, thin lace. So I really love that. The other thing that I like is they've got, just ruined a bunch of stuff, it's fine. They've got a little infographic here that shows what the things are, what the product is, how to wash it, how it's presented, all that kind of stuff. So I really like that. Shade cards, buy one. If you don't have one, they're totally worth it. I know that Anchor, because they ship a lot of things from Germany, it can be a little bit difficult at the moment to get things into England because of the Brexit rules. So that's something to think about. But definitely try and get one. Just for a comparison, sometimes they have the thread ones, which is this. It's actual thread on there. And I got a DMC one, but I didn't get the thread one. They were all out, so I just bought the regular, meaning that they have pictures, and it's not the same. So you can tell these are the pictures of the thread. It's just a picture. Do you know what I mean? And this is the actual how they look. So like it's way better to get the thread ones. I know DMC do the thread ones as well, but like I said, they were all out when I went to go buy one. So I said, well, I'll just get this one instead. I'm sure it's the same. It's not the same. Not the same. So yeah, I love this. I love this one so much. Do not get the one with the pictures. Get the one with the actual thread. So I told you in the pattern, there's a picture of all the different thread colors that I ordered from them, and these are them all. So I'm not going to say all the colors because they're already in the pattern. If you just zoom in, you should be able to see the numbers if you wanted to get some. But basically, I just got a bunch of greens, dark, light, a little bit of blue, a little bit of yellow. I got a little bit of the blue color, a little bit of purple, and then I got some nice warm tones, reds, pinks, green, no, not green, orange, yellow. So these are the threads that I'll be using. A lot of people have said, how do I know which ones to get? And the best thing that I would do, if you're looking at the big one or if you're looking at the small ones, meaning if you have, what's it called? If you're doing the free one, go into the pattern and you'll see this, okay? Obviously, we're not copying the flowers per se, but what we're doing is we're counting how many big flowers we have, and then we're going to assign colors to them. And then it's the same with this one, counting all the big flowers and assigning colors to them. So what we'll do is we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And even these ones, that would be 8. So I would probably get maybe 7 different colors for your flowers, and then get 2 or 3 additional colors that you can mix and match. So let's just pull like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then we're gonna get 2 or 3 additional colors that we can mix and match with. So maybe blue, purple, we'll do 2 oranges and we'll count that as 1, and then pink. So this is what you'll have for your thing. And then you'll add your greens. So what I like to do is do some light ones, some medium ones, some dark ones, and then some that have a tint of blue and some that have a tint of yellow. So this is what I mean by that. Again, you can use as many or as less colors as you want. If you only have 5 colors, then just use the 5 colors. It's totally fine. You do not have to have a lot of colors. You do not have to spend a lot of money. Really what we want to do is focus on the stitches and learn those and get better at them. So do not worry if you're like, I chose all the wrong colors, I hate them. It's fine. You're fine. You'll be fine. As far as greens, what I like to do for greens is pick a couple. Look what I've done. They're all going to go on pegs anyways, so there you go. A couple light colors, yeah, and then a couple medium colors, maybe a bright one a little bit more muted, yeah, a couple dark ones. And then what I like to do is pick ones that have a little bit of yellow in it. So if you look at these, yeah, and you put this one next to it, this green here, it's totally fine, she said it. This green here looks like it has more yellow in it than blue. So if you know how to mix colors and you know that green is made of yellow and blue, if you do equal parts yellow and blue, you'll probably end up with something like this. Yeah. So if you're new, I say it's totally fine all the time. All the time. Like probably 2 or 3 times per live. So I'm sorry. It's just going to happen. So yeah, if you had equal parts yellow and blue, you'll probably get something like this. And if you add white, you'll probably get something like this. If you add, I don't want to say black, but if you add red, you'll probably get something like this. So you've got the whole color family here. This is the darkest, this is the lightest. It's the same color, one's just lighter, one's just darker, yeah? Something like this. This is more yellow than blue. Does that make sense? Let me see if I have another one. This one's probably a touch more blue than yellow, but it's not a very good example. I pulled some out earlier. This one. More blue than yellow, and you can see them right next to each other. Yeah? You can almost see how this one's like equal parts, and this one's got more blue and this one's got more yellow. So what we want to do is add lots of different shades, different tones, and different colors of green so that they're not exactly all the same. So you want to really mix it up, and it really makes it look like it has more than just one dimension. So if we just used these 3 colors, it would just be like, done. Will it look lovely? Yeah, of course it will. It will look great. But if you can, try and go a little bit more out of your comfort zone and choose a couple more colors that maybe you wouldn't always choose. So this is almost the same color, but again, more yellow. Again, more yellow. I'm just pulling from my stash now. Because like I can go on and on about this. This one, more blue. This one, more blue. Almost the color blue, but not quite. Even this one here has a bit more blue in it, I would say, than that one. And again, this is going to be like really small differences. More yellow. So I hope I'm not being confusing. And I think I've only got like 5 minutes left. So it's probably where I'm going to end it. But just pick a couple colors that you really, really like. And if you do that, you can't go wrong. I promise you. It will be absolutely lovely, and you'll do such a great job. I'll come back, not today, probably tomorrow. What day is it? Today's Wednesday. I'll probably come back tomorrow, Thursday, and I will trace both of the patterns out for you so that you can see exactly how I do it, exactly how I use the blue tack. And then I'll put a little thing in my stories that show all 4 of these, and then you guys can vote on which one you think I should trace for my teapot hoop. Because, like I said, I kind of want to do this one, but I like them all, but I cannot stitch 4 hoops at one time, guys. I just can't. So that's probably going to be it from me today. I've gotten a little bit carried away. But that's fine. It's totally fine. It's all right. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. So yeah. So pick some nice colors that you like. Don't worry about other people. We're doing this to have fun. The community here is fabulous. If you haven't already, you can follow the hashtag the Barmy Fox, and then it's SAL for Stitch Along. This is where we take pictures of our embroidery every day, and then use that hashtag, and they'll all be up together so that you can go and browse through everyone else's photos and see what colors they're doing, see what teapots they did. You can like and comment. Hopefully, that's what we're here for, guys, to encourage each other and to give it the old college try. And plus, people just love it. Like, when you get a comment on your photo, it's like, really? They took time to comment to me? Like, I can't even believe that. So, really, please, please, please try and do it. You don't have to do it every single day. Like, no one's asking you to take photos every day if you don't want to. And if you have a private account, they won't come up. So you can always DM me, just me, and then I can share them, or we can just say how amazing it is, the two of us together. The other thing that you can do is join the VIP Facebook group. So again, it's just a nice, lovely little community. We talk about all kinds of stuff in there, mostly about embroidery, but we often talk about other things too. That's where you can drop pictures of your hoops if you want. And actually, I'll probably do like one thread a week, and you can all post your progress, and that way we can keep it nice and fun. But that is the Barmy Foxes, Foxes. And yeah, it's free to join. You don't have to pay anything. It's just a bunch of people having a good time. So I hope that you'll join me there. Please use the hashtag. And yeah, I can't wait. I'll speak with you tomorrow after I find out which teapot you guys choose for me. So enjoy your Wednesday, and I will talk with you tomorrow. All right. Bye.